Hey everyone! So today we're going to dive into a story that's, well, it's pretty simple, but honestly, it's incredibly profound. It's a parable that might just change the way you look at yourself. It's the story of the cracked bucket.
So let me just start by asking you something directly. Think about it for a second. Are there things about yourself, quirks, imperfections, things you might call flaws, that you feel are holding you back, that make you feel less than? Just kind of tuck that thought away for a bit as we go through this.
Okay, so let's jump right into the story. It all starts with a simple daily routine, a journey taken by a water carrier who had these two buckets to do his job. And they were very, very different. Just picture this, right? A long, dusty path, the sun beating down, and this repetitive task. Every single day, the same walk from the stream to the house, carrying water. It's the kind of routine where you really start to notice the little things.
And here they are, the two main characters in our little drama. On one side of the pole, you've got the perfect bucket. It's strong, it's flawless, and it delivers a full portion of water every single time. But on the other side, you have the cracked bucket. And by the time that long walk was over, it had leaked out half of its water. So you can imagine, for the perfect bucket, every day was a success, a job well done. But for our cracked bucket, oh man, every single trip was this constant, painful reminder of its own imperfection. And that feeling, it started to get really, really heavy.
And we're not talking about a bad week here. This went on for 2 whole years. Day in and day out, the cracked bucket just did its job, completely fixated on what it was losing. It was always comparing itself to that perfect bucket, and all it could see was its own failure. The shame just grew and grew with every drop of water that spilled onto that path.
It wasn't just about the water it was losing, it was this deep, soul-crushing emptiness. The bucket felt hopeless, like its entire identity was defined by that one crack, by what it saw as its one huge failure.
So, after 2 long years of just carrying this shame in silence, the bucket finally hits its breaking point. It actually spoke to the water carrier and apologized for what it saw as its great failure of only ever delivering half a load. And this moment, right here, this is where everything changes. Now, you'd think the water carrier might be annoyed, right? But no, not at all. He wasn't angry or disappointed. He was just compassionate. And he offered the bucket a totally new way of looking at its journey, a perspective it had been completely blind to.
So the bucket sees total failure, right? Lost water, a job half done. But the question is, what did the water carrier, the master, see? With this real kindness, the carrier just gently redirects the bucket's attention. He doesn't argue, he doesn't say you're wrong. He just smiles and says, as we walk back, just notice the path, but only on your side.
And as they're walking back, the cracked bucket looks down and, wow, it sees something it had never noticed before. On its side of the path, and only on its side, there was this incredible, vibrant line of wildflowers, just thriving in the sun. The other side of the path, nothing but dust. And this is where you see the quiet wisdom of the master. See, he knew about that crack the entire time, but to him, it wasn't a defect. It was an opportunity. So what did he do? He planted flower seeds all along that side of the path. So every single day, without ever knowing it, the bucket's leak was actually watering those seeds. Its perceived failure was literally creating life and beauty. And this, right here, is where the story stops being about buckets and flowers and starts being about, well, about us. Because the real lesson here is about finding our purpose, not in spite of our flaws, but actually because of them.
It's kind of like a pencil, if you think about it. What's a pencil's whole purpose? To leave a mark, right? But to do that, it has to be sharpened, it has to get worn down. You could say its vulnerability is absolutely essential to its function. And maybe the same is true for us. Maybe the very things we see as imperfections are what allow us to leave our own unique, beautiful mark on the world.
So this all leads to this really powerful idea, what we can call purposeful imperfection. It's this recognition that our cracks, our quirks, our so-called flaws, they aren't bugs in our system, they're features. They're the very channels that our unique gifts can flow through and into the world, often creating beauty that we can't even see at first.
So what does this actually look like in our own lives? Well, first off, just notice your cracks. Acknowledge them, but without judgment. Second, and this is the hard part, you have to reframe them. Stop calling them failures. Start asking a different question. What does this allow me to do? How does this quirk, or this sensitivity, or this past experience give me a perspective no one else has? And then just look around. You might be shocked to see the flowers you're already watering.
So, if there's one thing to really take away from all of this, it's that your imperfections don't diminish you. They are not liabilities. They are a fundamental part of your design. And in a world that so often screams for perfection, your unique mix of strengths and so-called flaws might just be the exact thing that someone out there desperately needs. So I'm going to leave you with that to think about. I want you to look back on your own path. Because of your unique cracks, your specific journey, what unexpected beauty have you been cultivating all along? What flowers are you growing?